see what she's got now. Maybe it has an air leak. No, I had given more fuel on the low side, so probably just because it was warming up. Tune change. All right, so let's talk about it a little bit. I don't think that it has an air leak. If it had an air leak, it would be acting a little bit more finicky than that, I think. We'll see. You know, and even if it does have an air leak, I don't really care that much because, again, this is definitely going to be a dedicated race saw. So, as long as it can run 3 cuts, who gives a shit, right? So what did I do to it? I don't know if it's faster or not. It feels like it is, but then again, whenever I'm getting down here and it's hitting that knot, it's sucking the power from it. I mean, it's still running great, but you know, I'm talking it out, okay? So, I advanced the timing. My guess is probably about 6 to 8 degrees. I don't know. I just measured the keyway. I took 30 thousandths off of the keyway. So whatever that advanced it, it advanced it. We're not pulling back or anything. It's not running backwards. So I think that we're probably good with that timing advance. It could use a little bit more. I don't know. I'm going to leave it where it's at. Honestly, I'm happy with the way it's running. Is it the fastest thing in the world? No, probably not. Would it feel different if it had a 7 or an 8 pin sprocket on there? Oh yeah, it would. But I think that I'm going to leave the 9 pin on there because whenever I go up to the tip-up race in Michigan, they're going to be running little stuff anyways. So I want that 9 pin to stay on there. I mean, this right here, technically, I mean, like, you guys out west, you guys run actual big logs and stuff like that whenever you're racing, I know. But this, for here, what we do is big. You know, that's probably 14 inches, you know, in the meat of it right there. You know, probably about that. And so, that's big wood. Typically, you wouldn't be running this at an actual race. They're going to have squared off cants, probably about 10 inches. Maybe they'll have 12, I don't know. Then it's pulling the 9 pin, no problem, you know. That's the thing that, like, whenever you start messing with this stuff and, you know, you're messing with gearing, if you want to go as fast as possible, you got to keep those RPMs up. And RPMs make a bigger difference than gearing does. Does that make sense? Like, you get more gains by running 1,000 RPMs more than you would by running an extra tooth on your gear, your actual sprocket. So it's a balance. I don't know, maybe I should see what it'll do with an 8 pin, but definitely not going to do it now. If this thing restarts, it's a success. What I found that was causing the problem earlier, there was what appeared to be a clog in the carburetor, but it was under the screen. The little screen inside the carburetor, it was under that. And so, that was weird. But it did appear to have a clog in the fuel line. And whenever I was looking at the fuel line on the saw itself had the fuel line was ripped after the filter, and so it wasn't getting any filtration whatsoever. And so the carburetor was just clogged up. But I did the timing advance, I cleaned up the fuel system, put it all back together, and I went ahead and cut open that muffler and took that baffle out of there, and I put in a little shield, one of these that Joe makes, Dyno Joe makes those shields. I just put it on there so that it would, you know, just look decent, I guess. Really about it. But let's see if she'll restart and do a couple more cuts. yeah, the bottom half of that log is pretty hardcore. So I didn't foresee that being such a big issue. But we got it what seems to be running good, or at least good enough. I can definitely race this in the 6 cube class and have some fun. The next step, however, and I don't know if I'm actually going to run this in 6 cube class. I might be running this in the open modified class, because the next step for this is a pipe. And I got one in there that you guys are going to recognize. I've used it in the past for a Dickhead's chainsaw, and I'm going to replicate what I did with that and put it on here, and it'll be cool. Whether it'll work or not, who cares? I just want to go and have fun. That's it. And to have something to run with a big old pipe in the open modified, that'd be pretty cool. There's one more thing too that I forgot to mention. I cut those dogs off and smoothed this over, because those dogs can get in the way, get you hooked, and slow you down whenever you're racing. And I had a little bit of a difficult time with doing that, cutting those, because I was like, are those rare, or you know, blah blah blah. This is kind of a rare saw at this point, not really, but I was like, should I do that? But then I was like, well, shoot, I've already decided that you know, I'm going to be using this as a dedicated racer anyways, so there you go, cut it off. And I got some comments on the Sandvik bar. Pretty cool. This is a new old stock bar. It says right on there something like 1970s or something. I mean, I can't see it right now. I'd have to turn the camera off. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been saving this specifically for this saw, just because, oh, there it is. Look at that. 1971. Yeah. Patented USA, Canada, 1971. That's pretty nifty. But the chain that I've got on here is just a out of the box C83. And considering, you know, it's no race chain or anything, last I checked, it was making it through that pine log in about 5 seconds. Maybe I'll edit this video on the computer so that I can see specifically if I got any gains or not. But clearly seems to be running better to me. Feels better, feels strong, feels good. But again, that 9-pin sprocket it really covers up a lot of power. Now you might cut faster, but the saw doesn't feel nearly as powerful as it would if I had a 7-pin on there. I mean, my goodness, if the torque that it has right now, if I had the 7-pin on there, boy, I'd really be able to crank on it. Then I might be one of those jackasses that say, you can't bog it down. You can bog anything down, really, except for a bike saw. Can't bog those things down. At least I can't. All right, anyways, that's enough.